It is absolutely pissing it down today. Birmingham is doing a right number. So I apologise for the light, because the only light I have is natural light. And there's none of it. Book 7. Perks of Being a Wallflower. As I said, I have many thoughts about this book. It's about a boy called Charlie, who's a freshman in high school. Charlie is entering into that part of life where you want to learn about living and sex and all the stuff you're going to take into adulthood with you. And he learns that through these friends that he meets, Sam and Richard, who are in their last year of high school. So they're about to graduate. I had so many problems with this book. He's suffering trauma basically, and I had a problem with that as well, because it's kind of like that perpetuation of the myth that those who are abused will go to abuse, which kind of gives away what kind of trauma it is. But there you go. It's kind of problematic on that level because it's not true, and also it was problematic in how he was portrayed, how he was put forward as a character. And that is my second really big problem with the book. What is wrong with Charlie and how he responds to it? I don't know whether Charlie is supposed to be sort of slightly autistic in his mannerisms because he's super duper bright, or because he was abused, or because he's actually autistic. I don't know. We're not ever given any kind of, you know, confirmation as to that. So I have to assume after reading the book that it's a combination of his being super duper bright and having been abused. In which case I have a massive problem with it. I mean, a massive problem with it. It's like Sheldon's portrayal in The Big Bang Theory. I love Big Bang Theory and I love Sheldon, but I find it super problematic that people who are hugely intelligent in fiction on the screen or in books are portrayed as being, you know, autistic in their mannerisms. There is nothing wrong with being autistic, by the way. Nothing at all. But books like this, where a character is portrayed as being autistic when they're not, because they're hugely intelligent or because they've suffered from some kind of trauma that's made them act strange, that's just not on. Because it suggests that autistic behaviours are somehow unnatural when they're not. You understand where I'm coming from with that? I feel like assertions are being put forward that are misleading in the extreme. So yeah, I'm not cool with that. I'm not down with that at all. I felt like it was kind of at the end of the book sort of like, oh, this is why he's all of that, because this happened to him. It's like, oh really? I don't think so. I think he's intelligent because he was born intelligent, and I think he's strange because he's had a very peculiar upbringing and very sort of strange circumstances with a very open and strange family, and I think that he's traumatized because he has a right to be traumatized because someone bloody abused him. I'm not explaining myself very well because I'm a little bit angry still, but what I'm basically saying is he's taken traits of autism that are almost a caricature of autism. They're like the, in brackets, this is autism thing used in characters in films and stuff that is not necessarily true to autism at all, and he's connected it up to abuse and superintelligence in yet more hideously freaking stereotypical nonsense and called it a character. That's just that makes me so angry because it misrepresents people with autism so severely. And I'm sure he didn't intend for it to be like that, at least I hope he didn't, but that's how it's come across, you know? That this is just stereotypical autistic traits, and wow, no. And if Charlie was meant to be autistic, then maybe, you know, mention that in the book. And do your bloody homework about autism. Talk to people who actually have autism, get their experiences, understand their point of view, and bleed that through your book. Don't just grab a few stereotypes off the shelf and fling them down and call them character. That's all I'm saying. If you're going to write the experience of anyone outside of your understanding, do your homework. Try and understand them before you end up writing a load of stereotypical nonsense about them. That's all. For saying that though, the book is really well written, and I did enjoy it as I was reading it, but as I said, after I finished it and sat down and thought about it, I got more and more uncomfortable with how everything is portrayed in it. Yeah, I feel like I've been very much misled by the book because the reveal is almost right at the end, and it's kind of like, oh, right. No. So yeah, I would recommend it, but be aware, sensitive subject matter, not particularly well handled in the end. Really not. Really not. So next week, if I have finished it, because at the moment I've still got like a chunk left, it's Hilary Mantel's Wolf Hall, which I am really enjoying for not being someone who's super duper fond of kind of historical lit fic. So that's next week, and I will see you then.